All right. PM Kester here with how to take a break, and I'm back for another career related video. This time I'm talking about figuring out what you want in your career. So my last couple of career videos, we have talked about ways to take a break from your career, ways to come back into a career after a long break. But now we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and we're going to take a break to figure out what you want. Now, this can be applied probably to like a lot of other areas in your life, but we're focusing in on career. And I have 3 things to think about when you're trying to figure out what you want from your career so that you can make the proper next move. Number 1, how much do you need salary-wise? How much do you need salary-wise? Now, and this is not just like all-encompassing pie in the sky, because we tend to go immediately 6 figures, I think. But this is some advice I got early in my career. I was in between 2 different job offers, and I went to a supervisor at my job, my former supervisor, and told her the situation. I was like, I know this organization is going to hire me on, but I also now have another offer. And she told me to go home and write down what all I needed to live, to survive. Like, what did my bills look like? And then throw in some things that I wanted my kids to be able to do, whether it was piano lessons or dance class and stuff like that, and then add all that up and figure out what they came up to on a yearly salary basis. Now, this was way back. Oh my gosh, I love to say way back. This was way back in like 2014. And so at the time when I went home and I looked at bills that came out of my salary, like out of my portion of what I needed to pay, medical expenses and stuff like that, that I just kind of went through month by month, and stuff that I wanted my kids to do, or that I knew they wanted to do and I wanted to be able to provide for them, it came up to about $65,000 a year. And so from that point on, I used that as like my barometer it's one of the things when I was considering jobs. When offers came my way, I knew that $65,000 a year was my sweet spot, and I was not trying to mess with anybody who went below that, unless they checked off some of the other areas that we're going to talk about. But $65,000 was my sweet spot. For you, that number may be higher. It may also be lower, but I also think it's a good example is, again, we think sometimes that these high numbers salary-wise is like where we should be shooting for. And I think you really need to be realistic sometimes, because then you can shoot for that high salary job and it just is not worth it on other levels. And you find out more money, more problems. Look at me now, 6 figures, and the tax man does not take it easy on you when you start making 6 figures. I will let you know that right now. But for me, that salary-wise, $65K way back then. So how much do you need? That's your homework. Go write that down. Figure out that number. What's your number? All right, figuring out what you want, career edition, number 2. What skills do you like using, and what skills do you want to learn? So if you're trying to figure out job-wise what you like doing, if it's like you're in graphic design and the company that you're working in really gives you creative license to do newsletters, and you're really good at how you're doing newsletters, that's going to be your calling card, is how you do all this innovative stuff with newsletters. So that's the skill. That's a skill that you like using. Now think about, what do you want to learn? You may say video production. Does that company give you the flexibility to learn it? Like, are there people you can go to where maybe if you spend some time with them, or they work it into your schedule, where you're kind of like learning from them, mentorship under them, you can learn those skills? Or if another company came in and says, we want to hire you as a newsletter person, but we also want to train you on being a videographer. Is that now the jump that you make? Like, what's the barometer here? Okay, figuring out what you want from your career. So that's number 2. Number 3, what matters to you? So this is gonna go back to money, because again, I say we always think that the money matters when you're looking at a job, and I was no stranger to that. When I was younger, I was always just like, whew, Lord, it's like $125,000 a year. Woo, it's like $200,000 a year. And don't get me wrong, the money is nice, but as I have gotten older, I start to recognize that in figuring out what I want, I have to have something from the list, right? The salary is one part of the equation. Yes, it's a consideration, but then is it going to teach me something new? I'm very big right now into like, I want to go somewhere that's going to teach me new skills, because I recognize more new skills that I learn, I become more marketable. Also, another thing that's starting to matter to me more in my career at this stage of my life is like, how do I get along with these people that I work with? Am I with like a good group of people? Do I have a good manager? And not just a manager that's nice, but a manager that's nice, but also is going to speak up for me in those rooms that I'm not in, because that's the type of manager that's going to get you a raise. That's the type of manager that's going to help you grow and get and cheer for you and like speak up for you when like supervisor positions and other big things and big projects and stuff that kind of help put you out there. That's the manager that's going to put you on the map. So I look at stuff like that. So you really have to, instead of just jumping for the money, you have to start thinking big picture. What matters to you? The people you work with, the amount of money, what you learning. What of those things matter to you? Maybe they all matter to you in some type of way. Like you have a number that's your low point and your high point. You have a good manager. You don't really care about the folks you work with. You don't really care about learning new skills. You just want to be able to be the best at what you do. But think about those things. Think about what matters to you when you're trying to figure out what you want in your career. I'm going to recap for you. Figuring out what you want, career edition. Number 1, how much do you need? What's that magic salary number? Number 2, what skills do you like using? What skills do you want to learn? And number 3, ask yourself, what matters to you? Thank you so much for tuning into this channel and for watching these career videos. They really have like blown up on my channel. If you are still tuning in for the career videos and from the career videos, I invite you to check out some of my other content, all centered around different ways that you can take a break, be it in your career, in your relationships, working on your money. I also have the How to Take a Break podcast with Pete M. Kester, found wherever you listen to podcasts. And on that podcast, I do a lot of interviews with other folks, especially a lot of entrepreneurs, asking them how they fit breaks in their day, how they took a break to start their business and to do the things that value to them in their life. So thank you for your support. Continue to check me out, like and subscribe. And until next time, find a little time to take a break. Bye.